Guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86, and real quick, I wanted to go over something that's pretty neat. Somebody actually asked a question and said that they didn't have something that could do this, so I wanted to try and cover it as quickly as possible because people are cutting the grass all over the place. Nah, I could always do it later, I guess. This is the arch here. Now, what the question was specifically using one of these, somebody didn't have any luck. So my experiment is going to be, let me pick one up. They're like 25 bucks, I think. And what they do is they're Bluetooth receivers and Bluetooth transmitters. So it's easier for me to have hands-on experimentation with it as well as have the book to read in order to kind of test some of this stuff out myself. What's the purpose of this? Well, like the Epson 2150 doesn't have the ability to broadcast sound over Bluetooth. Now, a lot of people will think that that's blasphemy because you should have a receiver in 7.2 Dolby Atmos, but not everybody does that. I don't do that. I'd like to do that. I don't have the kind of fundage that some people do though. Anyway, so basically what we're gonna do is charge it up, plug it in, and see if we can't broadcast the sound over Bluetooth to the soundbar, which is a Bluetooth capable soundbar. That's the other thing. If you don't have at least one of the other components is not Bluetooth, then you either need to make it Bluetooth or find something that is to use. So again, we have a way to charge this. It takes about 2.5–3 hours to charge it completely, or so it says. Told you they're cutting the grass out there. Repping the Red Sox today. So anyways, it takes about 2.5–3 hours to charge this device. Now, it does eventually die because it is a battery. It'll last you about 12 hours of straight continuous use. That's pretty cool. The problem is though, who wants to keep unplugging it and keep charging it and then remembering to plug it in and resyncing it? Now, it does remember the last few things it was synced with. It can sync with up to 2 or 3 devices, I believe. I'll double check the book and I'll post that in the description down below for clarification. I don't care if it can connect to a whole bunch of things. I do care if it will be able to handle the one task purpose I want it to handle, which is to turn the Bluetooth into a sound projection device out. What we'll do is we'll plug our 3.5 into the back of it. We're going to turn it on. We're going to set it in transmit mode, and we're going to try to get the Bose Solo 5 to discover it, and then hopefully we'll hear it. Now, a caveat to Bluetooth sound is over time it gets a little bit out of sync. I've noticed this with every Bluetooth device. I don't know if you guys have as well, but if you're watching a 3–4 hour movie or you're binging a show, eventually the voices start to get off. What I mean by that is it starts to look like bad lip syncing, and I think that that's just a latency issue between Bluetooth transmission and the show you're watching. The easiest way to fix that though is of course just turn it off, turn it back on. But again, that's inconvenient, and that's not this device's fault or any Bluetooth device's fault. That is Bluetooth technology's fault. So let's see if we can get this to work, because I'll be curious if we're able to. Man, that sun came out and got pretty bright, didn't it? But I'm curious if it'll be able to work, so that's exactly what we're going to look at. Can it charge while it transmits? We're going to find that out as well, because that's important too. If you have the ability to not have to unplug it, that's great. Out of the box, it comes with an adapter for analog. So you can go 3.5mm to analog left and right, red and white cables. It is its small 3.5mm jack to 3.5mm jack, because that's probably what you're going to use with something like the Epson 2150. And it also comes with its small charge cable. The book is very important. Read the book. There's a lot of information of how to get it to work the way you want it to work. This is not one of those things that's probably as simple as pull it out of the box and you've got it figured out. You're going to need to reference some things. I got the hiccups. If I hiccup while I'm talking, I'm sorry. Look, while I can't speak for the simplicity of other devices, I can definitely tell you this was super simple. My biggest problem was when I turned on the Bose Solo and I put it in Bluetooth mode, it was pairing, but there was a flashing blue light telling me that the arch here did not pair with it. So I realized, oh, well, Bluetooth on my phone is on and I've used it on the speaker, I turned it off. And then I encountered the same problem. So then I had to go find the Bluetooth phone that was connected to it, which was Laura's while she was sleeping. I went in there and turned her Bluetooth off, and then I was able to connect to it easily. It was as simple as plugging it in, turning it into transmit mode, which is TX, holding the power button, and then turning on Bluetooth on the speaker, and boom, it connected. And I watched some condensed ball games, and I had no problem whatsoever. I thought that it was actually transmitting quite well. But again, with Bluetooth technology, over time, you're gonna get latency issues that lead up to kind of off lip syncing, and that's with any Bluetooth really that I have noticed or come across over time. If you're listening to music, on the other hand, it's not that bad. So if you have a Bluetooth speaker, or I'm sorry, if you don't have a Bluetooth speaker, but it does have a 3.5mm auxiliary jack or a left and right red-white channel, then you can plug that in and turn it essentially into a Bluetooth receiver as well, where you just go on your phone, connect to it, play Pandora or whatever you want over it. Now, I've heard some people say that these things don't work, but I absolutely had no problem with this one. So I can't speak to the integrity of the other devices that I don't know, but I do know that this one worked, and it worked pretty well. Again though, if you have something like the Epson 2150, I only have one USB on the back, and I use that to power the Fire Stick. If I wanted to power this, I'm kind of SOL unless I run a brick up to the power in the ceiling, you know? And don't forget, if you stash it away, I did think about putting it on top of the Epson, but I'd have to pull it down just to repair it each time. That's sort of the downside to this, but if it's your only option, it may be a good option. Otherwise, try and go with a cable if possible. But for its intended purposes and what it does, it is kind of a little fix and a little bit of a savior when it comes comes to wanting some wireless sound to go over Bluetooth in order to listen to your show, listen to music. It works great. I had no problems with it whatsoever. So whoever did ask me that question a while ago or had one that didn't work, and sorry about that noise, they're still cutting grass. Whoever had one that didn't work, this one does. I've had no problems with it, and I'm sure I could help you answer questions on it if you're having a hard time getting it connected still. Anyways, guys, I'll post it down below, and if you have any questions, be sure and ask them. I'll try my best to answer them and get back with you. And you guys have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do.